There are so many guitar plugins these days. It's even getting hard to stand out in the saturated market of goodness. We have Amp Knob, Clairvoyant, STL, Neural DSP, and many more amazing guitar plugins that sound so great. However, the bass, as it's always been, is still kinda overlooked. And all we need for bass is a good sounding VST that can extend to the low range of 7, 8, 9 string guitars and accurately represent that low tuning in a great form, so that we can drop it into our mixes, into our covers, and get it going. And, well, frankly, I'm not using many of these. I know of Gin Bass, Eurobass, and I think there is something else as well. But that's kinda it. Recording a low-tuned bass is actually quite difficult, so some of you may just want to use a VST instead, and there's no problems with that. So, today I'm gonna look into the new plugin by my good friend CJ Alwine, which is called Quake Bass, and we're gonna react to it together. I've not used it yet. We'll drop it into one of the mixes that I've done for you for demonstration purposes, and we'll see what you think. Hey, I'm Dr. Mark Trubetskov, the mad scientist of metal, and I'm here to bring valuable information for you regarding modern metal production and mixing. Mate, you like, subscribe and share to not miss it out. Let's go. Okay, here is the session, era, white noise, tight/sound.site. Once again, let's dive into it. Let's listen to this fragment with the bass files that were supplied by Tight Sound. By the description, it seems to be a machine bass, which I don't know what instrument it is, but I assume it's one of the VSTs available on the market. Let's have a listen. So to me, this sounds okay, and it may sound a bit better if mixed differently. This provides the modern, clanky, metallic sort of tone, which we are after. But to me, this sounds very carved in and kinda small as well, and it doesn't stand out by any means. So it just supports the purpose of having bass guitar in the mix. But, as I mentioned before, the overlooked bass thing continues with this trend. So it doesn't stand out, it doesn't sound natural by any means, obviously. Kinda lacks something to me. Now let's load up Quake Bass and see what we can do with that. So, Quake Bass, native instruments contact, just drag and drop and it's here. Not much we can grasp from this interface, it's just the instrument that we have to run MIDI through. So there are some specific modulations, articulations, key switches to use, and you can see that the note range is really extended, which is great for us for the purpose of modern metal, metalcore, deathcore bass programming. Let's see how it sounds. So straight away what I notice is it's more real than the machine bass, 100%. It sounds like a real bass guitar to me. It has dynamics, so if you look at the meter here, it seems to be more dynamic than the machine bass, and it has that warmer, more real tone to it. Now let's see what we can do with some EQ, compression and distortion to make it a bit more modernized. Okay, so what I've done here, I've duplicated the bass track for a second channel to apply distortion to, and I've sent this to a bus, which I will process accordingly. So now let's go ahead and work on the sound. The DI, that sounds pretty good to me. Using some cool IR to make it slap. And now let's do some distortion too. Need to compress it now. Nice and round. Needs more EQ. So still a little bit too mid-rangey for the modern tone. Sounds sick. Let's check it in the mix now. This basically sounds like a real bass to me, almost indistinguishable from a good, proper performance. Let's compare it with the machine bass. So this to me sounds much fuller and much richer and much more natural, which is a big advantage. Now, it can be a bit more modernized to have that clankier top end, more metallic tone, which will take a bit to dial in. However, the foundation, the DI, is absolutely sick, and all we need for a good bass tone these days is a good DI, really. Quite literally. We can push it through some amps, we can use some amp sims, some plugins, some distortions to carve it in, but as a foundation this is incredible. Just played around with some distortion parameters in this VST plugin, and here's what it sounds like. Let's check it out. To me, this sounds huge, rich, and flexible, so you can push it either way. If you want a traditional warmer tone, you can get it. If you want a modern super mid-scooped clanky top-end tone, you can have it. Just play around with plugins. All that matters these days with a good bass is a great bass DI, great sounding DI, great source tone, which is there provided with this Kalium Quake library. And it's easy to use. No parameters to tweak. Just drop it onto your MIDI, good to go. So, if you are looking for a good bass VST to support your guitar covers or maybe even mixes, this is a great tool to consider, and I would recommend you to look into it. Thank you for watching, let me know what you think, and cheers!